Okay, well, that sucked ass. This is another audio test. See how this works. I'll change the title to Totally Worked. If it works. Okay, so we're just going to continue because I don't think nobody really said. So, how do I see if this is even working? Is it connecting? Hello, testing. I guess I could listen to the audio on the other thing, but that's more trouble than trying it. Oh, that's right. There's a thing down there. I see it going. Hello, this is my little webcam thing, and I'll just play it out loud, and then you'll be able to hear it. This will
And
work.
it had, I can't remember whether it was prefixed by PWT or whether it was postfixed with .pwt, but it definitely didn't have the look of a normal web page. Earl.
He's talking about his first web page that he made.
Maybe they changed that, you know, and just like intraweb pages and internal network data transfers have common IP prefixes. I think at least there are many sets. There's more than one, but one of the first prefixes 192. Might be 155. I'm not sure.
192. 10.
But definitely 192 at the beginning of an IP address. If that was floating around in the World Wide Web, the routers would just ignore it because it would just get binned, or it should do, because it's recognized as a package of data coming from an intraweb. And so it is. I wonder whether, on a technical level, the definition of personal web page is in fact harking back to those old days when they had this prefix involved for web pages coming from an internet provider.
So I'm just trying to figure out what we're talking about. So what the subject, as far as I can deduce, is that Gary complained about Wikipedia's editors or whatever, people that have edited. And the page of complaint is a definition of personal web page.
Host, where the web space is gifted free to the customer, and whether it, you know, has inherited a type of prefix that when somebody inspects the IP address of where that web page is located, can inspect it and say, this is of the old technical ilk personal web page, though they've dropped the prefix and allowed you to name your domains. It's just a, you know, this is the ultimate catch-22 perhaps for Inmendum. And it's, I think it's unfair to prejudice against content on that on the sole basis of your IP numbers wrong. You've not, as he said, gone to GeoCities and bought yourself a piece of web space. I understand the arguments they could make against
I'm totally baffled.
They're always disappearing and customers change so that service providers and the links break too readily. But I think the evidence in the broken links, which he pointed out, and he's brought, you know, so much of a focus, and they've retrospective.
Okay, I want to say that my confusion does not reflect on Hythloday or even Gary at this point, because it's just like, see, a lot of times if I make a video like this, it's right in the middle of a context. People complain, you should explain what you're saying about me. I find it entertaining to try to reconstruct what Gary must be saying. I think he's complaining about his web page was badmouthed on Wikipedia for being in a local area network IP address range. Okay, let's keep going. I'll work on this theory.
Applied policy to kind of win their argument is a gross wrong, in my opinion. So it's interesting to see the in Mendham. I've heard he's taken people to court in the past, and he says he's prepared to do in the future. And I like that because that's a similar dogged tenacity that I possess. I took my ex-partner to court to stop her moving out of the region with my son. You know, I disregarded an unfair parking fine through many threats to take in court. Totally prepared to go to court to argue my case. My son is now being pestered and threatened with court action, and I'm studying up on the contract law and stuff such that they're trying to get money out of him when he was misled into this website being an official website.
Okay. Maybe this was the wrong video for me to blindly reply to without watching. Okay, got a little bonding there over the I worked for a guy, a grad student, when I was a junior programmer for Schilling. I did electrical engineering. I built actually a thing that was used to test detectors that ended up going up in the Spitzer telescope. I think it was Spitzer. Called something else at the time. And he had a hobby of getting speeding tickets and breaking them. He knew all over California where to go, where the speed traps, how to get out of a ticket that was given to you by an airplane. To turn me on to the fact that one thing is, if you just go, people think the judge will be mad, but the judge, it's like, hey, you're doing, take a part in your civic duty. And often the CHP in California won't show up because they're out there getting more tickets. In which case you don't have an officer witness and you pretty much get off. So, okay. I never shared that kind of hobby. I hate going to court. Filling out forms is the word. That's why I like computers, because I figured I could get them to fill out forms for me. But it's nice to see you putting out this olive branch. But I know Gary won't accept it. I'll have to watch the Gary response to this, of course.
So I like that. Right. Now on to the physics.
On to the physics.
I mean, no disrespect when I put forward criticisms, but I can't help but say and feel that there's a huge, monumentally massive task in front of Mendham to actually develop this theory.
Well, I would say add on top of that it's already incomprehensible. There's nothing to develop. It already has contradictions. The metaphors already rely on, like fish. That's to talk about slippery terminology. This metaphor, he can't use a conscious being as your metaphor just to explain all of its motions. It's like, oh, well, it's just a metaphor. Whatever. There's a million of these contradictions, and I don't want to really, there's no reason I'm supposed to say that I need to study the carcass of a dead unicorn that I've already determined was made out of some shopping bags and a few extra rolls of carpet. You know, you don't have to look, but how was the tail made? It's a piece of rope. I mean, it's of diminishing interest because he won't answer the complaints or contradictions, and it's not even clear what he's trying to prove. He says everything ends up resulting in the same. He acts originally when he starts on this like it's going to be more commonsensical. It's going to make more common sense, but it doesn't. It doesn't so far make any more common sense. It's just as weird as any other modern science theory, with the disadvantage of having no basis whatsoever in any empirical data or facts. In fact, it's invested in ignoring what's going on what we see happens. I mean, it doesn't just deny and try to come up with an alternate perspective. It's like a big red herring so that it can deny this, the two-slit experiment and experiments like it, but not really discuss them because, oh, it's all going to come out the same and this will explain it. But it doesn't. There is no such explanation. He says, well, it could be this bouncing off the edge of the slit and all these kinds of things. Well, anybody that studies the history of science knows that those arguments were thought up. I guess he deserves credit for thinking the kind of things that scientists thought up when they were first faced with this. But come on, that was 100 years ago. We can stand on the shoulder of some of these giants, even if we're disagreeing with them.
This theory, such that it wouldn't be very quickly suffer criticism that he wouldn't like from any,
I'm curious to see if this works. I mean, I see it should work, but who knows if the audio is okay. So this is probably another 5-minute one.